Welcome back, folks, to another exciting day in DayZ. Now, you'll probably notice that I am nowhere near the helicopter that exploded or the barn, and that I don't have broken legs. Short version of the story is when I managed to get back online and go into the server, my legs had repaired. I was starving and dying, and it was generally a very buggy experience. And I died. It wasn't in any way vaguely interesting. It was really just sort of a buggy death. So I decided that, well, not worth showing it. We're gonna have to start again. It's a shame. We made a lot of progress, but we know the area now. We know a good route to take. Although we don't want to go backwards on the motorbike should we come across one. And so off we set. So we've started near Electro once again, and my intent is to try and go up to Pusta and then take it from there. Possibly going to, the name of the town escapes me, let me just look it up. Yeah, so last time we kind of went to Pusta, off to Staroy, north over to Novi Sobor, which we acquired a motorbike in order to do. Well, it was more of a scrambler bike as far as I know. So we then accidentally went south to Mogalvika, or whatever it's called, and my plan at the moment, now that I've started, is to go back to that city, and then from there potentially branch off north-northwest and get to Stary Sobor and then the landing strip. So I'm trying not to fuss about here. I've noticed some connection sort of errors, so I'm just trying to take a quick look at my settings, and yeah, my ping is 17, so it shouldn't be an issue with my connection. So first things first, not too many zombies around, just going to move over to this gas station a little bit and see if there's anything initially I should be interested in terms of loot. So that door's open, worth having a look in there. So for those of you that didn't know, and I didn't really take enough advantage of this, so how I normally play is I double tap the left shift key so that I'm stuck in like I'm locked in walking mode, and if I press shift I go into like a jog, and if I double tap forward, in my case W, I'll go into a sprint. Previously, I didn't really take advantage of just the normal jog. I tended to either be walking or just sprinting everywhere. And this time, I think jogging definitely does have its place. It is just that little bit less noisy. So immediately, I'm aware that there's a path here that I can follow that will take me to Pusta. So that's my plan at the moment. It seems pretty quiet, so I'm not too nervous about going near the road or along the road just yet. I'm just keen to make progress, get away from the coastline, and head inland, because that's really where the good loot is. I think you can spend a disproportionate amount of time on the coast and not end up with a whole lot of stuff. And it seems like, you know, if you've got enough supplies to fend yourself off from a couple of zombies, you know, fend them off, you got a bit of food to get to your next destination, then for me it makes sense to head inland. So I'm stopping here. I'm just trying to think about, is this the right road that I'm on? I decide that it is, and I continue moving inland. This is one of those episodes that there is a bit of travelling in, I'm afraid, folks. It's just the way it's going to be. So you can see Electro on the east there. I just took a glance at it, and I believe in hindsight that is where episode 4 took place with our friend Chris and unnamed person who died. It was quite poignant, I felt, when Chris said, well, he died, we didn't even know his name, or that he didn't know his name. And you know, I can well imagine that as a survivor, you know, you meet up with these people, the adrenaline's pumping, you move on, and you don't even ask their name, and next thing you know, they're dead. So I know that following this path will take me into Pusta, so I'm just going to sort of stick to it relatively closely. Seems very quiet, no sign of any of the survivors. I'm not too worried about them at the moment. I always like to stop a little bit, take a little glance, have a listen. And yeah, I'm seeing that red broken chain on my screen, so I'm just wanting to check. And I can see that there's a large amount of desync happening for me at the moment, although my ping's alright. And then it's just cleared. So it does look like this server has a few little hiccups that I'm going to have to deal with for the time being, but I decide to press on. This evening I did find it was a little bit difficult to get on a server that functioned well. So at the moment, really, I'm just desperate to get to Pusta, have a little look around, and then move on. I'm very frustrated that all that progress we made ended up going to waste because of a bug. And I think it was kind of clear, you guys will have noticed it as well, that it was extremely strange that some of the towns we were coming across were totally empty of loot and zombies. And that's really abnormal. I've never come across that before. It is possible that somebody may have come across that town, cleared it out, and hit all the zombie bodies and took all the loot. But when you think about all the tin cans and crap that would have spawned, nobody would have picked up those tin cans. So I think it was a bug, and the server was having issues at the time, which is unfortunate as we acquired that bike. Something else to bear in mind is that around the time I was recording that, the DayZ guys were rolling out a back-end change which would enable vehicles again, which explains why we hadn't come across them. So yeah, that's the most sense I can make of it. I hope that it doesn't happen again. This server definitely does have zombies, and I definitely do come across some, so fret not. So the power lines above me are the same power lines that I followed previously, and found this road to Pusta. I started much further west that time, followed the power lines through the tree line, and then branched off in the clearing to this road. So, you know, I'm trying to get us back on track to where we were before. You probably might even recognize this road. So on the left there, looks like there's something. I haven't noticed it. Can you see it? I wonder what that was. Probably just a zombie. So again, keeping a look over my shoulder, keeping a reference point. So we've come round a curve in the road now, so I'm hoping that I'm that much closer to Pusta. Taking a little break to let my heart rate slow down, so if I do run into somebody, my aim is a little bit more steady. So I can start to see buildings now. It's familiar to me. Last time we ran across a lot of zombies and we attracted a lot of them too. So I've tried to take the decision at this point that I'll stick to the Makarov as much as possible. It is a little bit more quiet than the Winchester. I haven't run into a Winchester yet. I haven't really gone out of my way to find one. My assumption was if I go inland, there's lots of farm buildings, I will find a Winchester or something appropriate. So I just wanted to move away from the starting area. So I can see that barn, and I definitely don't want to try and go up the road and in through the center of the town as I did last time. I'm trying to come around the outside of the town, and I'm thinking there's just one there on his own. I'm just trying to see, is he going to hop off into the forest a bit and I don't need to worry about him? Just checking my backpack and checking what items I have. So just keeping tabs on him. And I'm thinking that if I can start to make progress, keep my eye on him, and he's turned around. So I try and make the decision at this point that as he's heading back towards the barn, he's definitely going to be a problem for me one way or another. So the most sensible thing to do is, whilst he is, as far away as he's going to get, is to try and, at a distance, pick him off so that the sound travelling from my gun attracts the least amount of zombies possible. So I was hoping I might hit him there, it doesn't look like I did. So here he comes. Again, 3 shots is, what I tend to use. Yeah, 3. I was hoping that first shot at a distance would have hit him. So he's down. Looks like there's at least one more coming. So I'm on my knee, I'm knelt down, trying to give me as much of a steady aim as possible. So he's crawling, I don't need to rush to kill him yet, just check what's on this guy. A CZ550. Not familiar with what that is, so I'm not going to pick it up just yet. Okay, so he's down. So you can see there's a guy in the background there just sort of stumbling along, stood up. I'm cautious, I'm worried that I might attract him as well. Yeah, and I have. So my mistake there was, as I was backstepping, I fired, and accuracy when you're backstepping, especially when you're knelt down, is pretty rough. I was fortunate in that second instance there when I was going backwards. I think I might have been stood up. So, yeah, again, I haven't noticed that I'm bleeding here. Is there some blood pouring out of me? It doesn't seem to be too bad a wound, but now I've noticed. So I'm down to about 10k blood now, just under. So finally I'm in a position to move forward a bit and check out what's inside that barn. It's not a full-on barn, it's just a small little sort of farmhouse. So I see the guy on the right in the distance. For the time being, I'm not considering him a problem. I'm just trying to remember where he is, where he might go as I approach the farm building. So I can hear the groaning, and often the groaning is sometimes louder, I feel. You know, it's quite loud considering that they're actually reasonably far away, but it's always worth listening to. I find that it does change, gets a bit more active if they think you're there, or they're getting more aggressive, or they're coming after you. Especially the hoppers, or the crawlers, as I call them. So we have found a sniper rifle, the CZ550. So it's a hunting rifle. So I remember seeing those bullets on the one of the zombie bodies. So I want to make my way back there as safely as possible and pick up that extra ammo. So I see that zombie on the left there, just trying to keep an eye on him. Really don't want to have to deal with him if at all possible. So I've managed to spot the bodies of my previous zombie victims. I'm just trying to delicately step over there. You know, I'm aware I'm not really making any sound, and my visibility is very minimal. So I'm feeling confident that I can avoid attracting that guy. He doesn't seem to be gurgling too loudly, so maybe he's alright. So just a tin can on that guy. And here's the magazine. So I've taken it. Just double checking if he has anything else. He doesn't. So these are the people that seem to have steel bolts on them. So at the time I thought that perhaps I was accidentally accessing just one of the zombies' inventories out of these two, because they were sort of touching each other. So I picked up one bolt and then accessed the other body just to see. And coincidentally they both had steel bolts on them, which didn't expect. So just having a look at the sniper rifle, looks pretty nice. The range on the scope is quite long, so that'll be useful. I don't have binoculars, but hey, this is, you know, this will be the next best thing. So he seems to be walking away up there, and it's time to move on. It's getting my Makarov back out. I've learnt my lesson, or at least I think I have, in weapon experimentation is not to take place in the middle of zombie infested towns. Especially with weapons that you anticipate might be loud, such as an AK or a sniper rifle. Sorry, a hunting rifle that's what it says on the description. It's no Beretta 50 cal, that's for sure. So really, things seem relatively peaceful so far. Just trying to remember what buildings that I can explore whilst I'm here. But I am interested in keeping my time spent as minimal as possible. But this is the first step. So yeah, definitely accessible, that one. So again, looking to avoid going on the main road, trying to go through the back gardens, hopping over fences and such. I feel like I've done pretty well so far. We haven't had the zombie massacre outside the front door of the little town. Just trying to listen carefully to see if I can hear any grunts or groans of zombies around. So I'm trying to find a way that I can get into the grounds of this building through the back, not wanting to go around the front. I was hoping there might be a hole in the wall, but there doesn't appear to be one just yet. So we've got a zombie coming around the corner. He sort of scuppered that plan a bit. So I'm backing up, just wanting to go back around the corner. Not looking for confrontation, but here we go. Just listening if I attracted anyone else. Looks like we've got away from that one. We did alright. So just gently jogging to the corner, and bingo, we can get access to the building. So haven't seen any survivors lately, which is interesting. You know, we went through a stage of coming across quite a few. Some things ending well, some things starting well and ending badly. Actually, nothing really ended well. Either not for them or not for me. But we had good times. So, looks like a heat pack. Don't have one of those just yet. Not something that's too bad to hold on to in case I need it. Although I've never found myself in a situation where I have required one yet. So really stocking up on some Makarov magazines. Hunting knife, need one of those. So yeah, experiencing some bit of server delay here, trying to loot things, a bit frustrating. So just trying to pick up the last few Makarov mags. It's feeling quite delayed. Yeah, I'm definitely getting frustrated now. Why won't those magazines pick up? So I decide to go into the next room and see what goodies await me there. So this is a flashlight. I've always been interested in having one, but it does take up your pistol slot. And at the moment, there's no way that I could depend upon having the hunting rifle as my main weapon. It's just not viable. I don't have the ammo. It'll probably be way too loud. It's no good in close quarter combat, I'm sure. So as interesting as the flashlight was, it didn't look like it was going to fit in my backpack, or certainly the server didn't feel like it was going to let me carry on. So because of the issues, I switched server. Hence the little transition there, and we're now on a different server in exactly the same place, I think roughly the same time of day. So just to try and smooth out the issues we'd been having. Unfortunately, on this new server, global chat is enabled, so do your best to ignore that if you can. I prefer to play on servers that only have direct communication, but as servers were being a little bit picky, I couldn't afford to be picky, so just taking a look outside and checking where I am, and my plan now is to follow this dirt road. I think it'll take me along the direction that I'm looking for. So this should take me sort of west of Pusta, and if I follow it, I should come up somewhere south of Mogalvica, which is where we were the helicopter crash site. So I'm keen to get back there, and we'll kind of be able to pick up where we left off, I hope. It's a little bit of a run, but I'm feeling a little bit more secure now, I've got a sniper rifle. If there's somebody at a distance that I spot and I don't like the look of, or it doesn't seem like, you know, it's going to be wise to participate in conversation with them, I can always pick them off from a distance if I need to. Or at the very least keep an eye on them. Not sure where or why that zombie bolted after me, but he wasn't too much of an issue, and I am quite isolated now. So yeah, the reason his body started to sink down there is if you choose the hide body option, it sinks into the floor. And I was just kind of thinking, if somebody does come to that town and does come this way, a body would indicate that I had been here. So if I hide it, then as far as they know, I was never here. Just checking the tree line, getting a little bit paranoid again. Seems alright. So something that I'm going to try and get sorted out as soon as I can find it is something called Track IR. So back when I used to play ArmA 2 quite a lot, this was before the days of DayZ, I had an accessory or peripheral for my computer called Track IR, and it's this infrared camera that mounts on top of your display, and then you get this little clip that you can put onto your headset, which has 3 little dots on it, and those dots are like little infrared lights. And what happens is it hooks into ArmA, and then it tracks your head movement. So I can look to the left, look to the right, look up a bit, look down a bit, and it maps it to the head of my character in the game. And this was especially useful when I used to fly helicopters and such in ArmA 2, as I could have my hand on the joystick flying the helicopter and just be looking around my surroundings by just gently tilting my head, instead of like holding an Alt button trying to control the mouse at the same time. And the hat on the top of the joystick I have is very clicky. It's not a smooth analog motion or anything like that. And yeah, it's quite nice immersion. So you know, I have no affiliation with them, but they're pretty cool things. If you do get into ArmA and DayZ, and you think that might add to your immersion, they're pretty cool. So yeah, my one is in a box somewhere far away at my parents' house. No idea how, if it even still works, but I might go around and try and dig it out because I think that'd be pretty cool. One of the things that I find that is immersive about DayZ is the sort of independent head movement. I really do like that, and to have that something that's totally like automated and seamless just with my own head tracking, that'd be pretty cool. So in terms of air vehicles, that's probably a bad word for it, but helicopters, as far as I know, they are not yet back in the game. I do follow the DayZ development team on Twitter, and yeah, they're not back yet, but I do believe your normal cars and stuff are back in. Haven't yet come across one. We obviously came across the Scrambler biker in the last episode. Yeah, so far, nothing yet. So when the music starts, it always makes me a little bit more paranoid. I appreciate that it is random, or at least I believe it's totally random when it starts to play. But yeah, it does make me a little bit sketchy feeling, kind of, the music starting, somebody watching me, somebody coming behind me. So just out the corner of my eye to the right there is the town. So I'm just trying to decide, shall I carry on following this path round, or shall I sort of skip across the fields to get to my destination? I'm also trying to get my bearings and see if I can find the different buildings and landmarks that I was using back when I had broke my legs. So just going a little bit further. I think I'm heading west at this point, with the town on my right, which is north. With the nicely timed music, we cast our eyes upon the town. So I kind of decided at this point, there's no advantage to me following this road around. I know where I want to be, and I can just cut through the tree line. It's a less obvious approach, and I've got some bushes and trees and things that I can use for cover on my way there should I need to. And there's the long barn that I checked in last time I was here, and it was completely empty, no loot, no zombies or anything. And the plane, or rather the helicopter, was crashed somewhere maybe around where we are now, maybe a little bit further ahead. But as you can see, no signs of any crashed helicopter now. So it does make me wonder, that crashed helicopter wasn't a set piece. Had somebody on that server managed to find a helicopter when they weren't meant to? Was it part of the tweaks they were doing to deploy and re-enable vehicles on the ground like cars? Don't know why it was there, if it should have been there. Maybe somebody did get in a helicopter and crash it there. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, it's not there now. So I can see a couple of zombies milling about, but they're a good distance away. Just making my way into one of the main roads into the town now. Doesn't look like the building on the road is accessible, so just going to carry on cutting through the fields. So I hear a zombie, he seems pretty close. I can't tell for sure. So I'm just lying down in the grass a bit. You can see using the meters on the right, I'm completely silent and, you know, very, very, like, as minimal as possible visibility. Just trying to roll a bit to see if I can get a better sight of who's making those grizzling sounds. I'm just going to edge forward a little bit. And we've got Mr. Bouncy Zombie who is up to I don't know what next to the little lake we have here. So I decide, can I just shoot him in one shot? We'll make this happen. Put him out of his misery. Didn't work. But now he's dead. I was thinking at the time, it seems pretty quiet, put him out of his misery. And you know, if I don't do anything and I walk past him, you know, he'll just come out of his buggy state and like instantly teleport on me and eat my brains. So I also thought I might get some loot out of it, but as you can see, the body has disappeared. Sun in my eyes. So there's the barn. I will finally be able to get there. Just checking around me, see if there's any zombies nearby. Nothing too close. If I did like a full-on sprint, I might attract something, but anything less than that, I should be okay. So just doing the gentle jog. And what is that? Looks like some sort of dilapidated castle. Definitely something that I would like to go and explore. And we shall next time. See you then, folks.